Bonantagon, I'm Nalior, and I will try to explain you in this video how we will be able to use Monero on our Trezor device. So as you know, with any cryptocurrency, it's hard to protect it, and we don't want our wallet hacked. So a Trezor device actually stores your private keys offline, but it was made for Bitcoin and not for Monero. And Monero needs some special firmware to be able to be used. So first I would like to recommend you to read my article on Trezor so you better understand what we are about to do. I won't go through that now. You can read for yourself, but you can find it easily on my website weuse.cash, and it's also a good point to start because it has a link to the firmware we need to download and install in this tutorial. So we'll go to that link, and then we find the software created by our core team member Noodle Doodle, and let's download that firmware through the browser, and I will visit you in a few seconds. So the next thing to do is locate the file you just downloaded and unpack it with 7-zip or some other program. So here it is, we're unpacking it. This is the folder. You can rename it to something more convenient if you want. For example, Monero_Trezor. So here it is. This has a special submap which we need. This contains all the files. So this one is the most important one. It's adjustment of the simple wallet file, and it's actually can talk to our Trezor device. So it also contains this notes file, and we will go through that during this tutorial. So the first thing we need to do is connect our Trezor in a particular way by pressing down the two buttons on the device and then connecting the USB to the computer. And then you can see on the screen of the Trezor something about a serial number and so on. If that's happened, then you're doing it correctly. And the next thing we need to do is open up our command line window. You can do that by pressing Control Shift and then right click, and then you should find something about opening the command line window. Then this black window opens, and now you need to type upload. But you can also just use tab to auto-complete it and just hit enter, and then there is something on your Trezor device about installing new firmware, and it gives a warning. You can just press the right button to continue, and then something about installing please wait happens, and well, it will slowly install the new firmware on your device. I'll come back in a few seconds. So once the firmware is installed, your Trezor device will show 4 lines of numbers and letters, and you need to compare the fingerprint, it's called, on the screen with the fingerprint shown in the black command line window. And you can see it starts with DD20 and so on, and if that matches what's on your Trezor device on your screen, then you can just hit the right button and press continue. And then a pop-up on the Trezor screen will say that the firmware is successfully installed, and we can now unplug our Trezor device. So that's the first thing you need to make sure happens. So now we need to configure our Trezor device as it were just a Bitcoin wallet. So we go to the website for managing that, mytrezor.com, and then you'll see that a plugin is needed. So I recommend using Chrome because usually that works also on a window. So we install that for Chrome, and we accept everything without really reading as usual. And in a few seconds it pops up that yes, it's successfully installed, and get started. And now we can connect our Trezor device. Once you connect it, a warning will appear on your screen namely unofficial firmware detected, and then you need to press the right button. I'll take the risk because the firmware created by Noodle Doodle isn't an official firmware signed by Trezor, so you need to always give permission to run it. So you press that, and then the Trezor setup is open. So you can give it a device label, for example, Monero. You can click continue, then you can choose a pin code. You need to insert that twice, and then on your Trezor screen 24 words are shown. So you need to write those down because that is the only safe backup you can make for your Monero wallet that's about to be loaded on your Trezor device. So you need to go through all those 24 words and write them down on paper, not in a Word document or something, because hackers can steal files on your computer. You need to write it down with pen and paper. So once that's done, I'm clicking it through now. Once that's done, you can go on with the configuration of your Trezor device. So that's done. And then once again, you need to put in your PIN code. So that's also done. And then it's loading. And at that point in time, you don't need to go to mytrezor.com website again, because we'll just use the command line created by Noodle Doodle, the command line software. So this tutorial has the goal to easily get you started. That's why we will use a remote node provided by Monero World to get you started. In a second video, I will give you more explanation about running a daemon yourself, so running a node yourself, and also about the password options that are available in the Trezor device. But for now, we will just ignore it and get you up and running as fast as possible. So you need to visit moneroworld.com and you can copy this command here, and then you go to your map where you installed everything, and then you create a new text file, and we should call it start underscore trezor .bat, B-A-T, not txt, but B-A-T. And yes, we want to change the extension. And then we need to change it, we need to edit it, and we paste what we copied on the Monero World website, and then we need to add this one, -- hardware dash wallet, and then just 0 or 1, doesn't matter. We close it, we hit save, and then we are ready to run our wallet. So first you need to connect your Trezor device to your PC again, and first click the I'll take the risk button, the right button on your device itself. Then you hear the sound that is connected, and then you can double click start trezor.bat. And this is the login procedure. So first we need to enter our PIN we chose at the start by typing it in based on the numpad of your keyboard. So if you don't have a numpad on your keyboard, you should draw it out on a piece of paper. But the numpad represents the numpad shown on your Trezor device. So I used a very simple PIN to test this, namely just 4 once. So I type in 4 once, but on the compatible number on the numpad. So I need to type in these ones. So then the command line wallet shows you a fingerprint, which is in this case BD1 and so on, and then you need to verify on the Trezor screen if it's the same. If it's the same, then you can safely proceed and you press continue on your Trezor device, and it shows waking up. And then we have a new file created. This file is needed for storing some data associated with your wallet, but the the data in that file isn't useful for hackers. They can't steal your money with that file that's created. And you also see your address there. So that address you need to use to send your Monero to, and basically now your wallet is ready to go. So you need to refresh it to get up to speed to the latest block that's mined, and we are starting our refresh. And now we are refreshing our wallet through the Monero World node. This is not so great for your privacy, but it's the easiest way to set up. So I'll come back once this process is finished, and then I'll show you some tricks with sending and receiving Monero to your Trezor device. So we are still syncing, but you can see two new files in the map. This one and this one. This one is unreadable, but this one is a text file, and when you open it, it contains your Monero address for your wallet you just created. So you should now go and send a few Monero to that address so we can see it inside the wallet when we are done syncing. So we'll see we need to sync about 1 million Monero blocks, and at the moment it's at block 57,000. So as you can see, I'm still refreshing, and I needed to type in refresh and hit enter again because it suddenly stopped refreshing. That's due to the Monero World remote node suddenly stopping, I guess. So this shows again that it's better to run your own node. I'll be back when it's finished, and normally we should be able to see our incoming transaction. So now we're down to the last blocks, and in a few seconds we'll see the incoming transaction. There it is. So yes, our balance is 2 Monero, and it's already confirmed. And now we will try to do a transaction. I'll use my own donation address at donate.reuse.cash. Let's copy it, and then we can transfer by typing transfer and then the address. Let's paste it, but it's easier to just use the open alias version of my address. You can just type donate.reuse.cash and it will fetch my actual address, and then type the amount, and then you can add the payment ID, but in this case it isn't needed, so we can delete it. We hit enter, and then you need to do the Windows thing again by accepting the lookup of my address, and then you can type capital Y to confirm that the address is indeed correct. We hit enter, and then on the Trezor device the transaction is shown, and we need to first confirm it and then checking it again and then confirm it, and then the transaction is sent, as you can see. So when we refresh our wallet again, we can see the outgoing transaction, and see that the balance is now 0.99 Monero. And well, let's do it again just to make sure you understand the process. So the command is transfer, then the address. So I'll use again donate.reuse.cash. Then you type in the amount. I'll try to do 0.97, and then basically you can add the payment ID. I won't do that. I'll just hit enter. Again, we need to confirm that the address that is fetched by a DNS lookup is correct. Type yes. On the device, the Trezor device, we need to sign the transaction by pressing the right button twice. So we do that. And then a transaction is sent. And then we can refresh our wallet again. And so now the balance is 0.01 Monero. What's very important is to save your wallet. Otherwise, you need to do the refreshing every time you open the wallet. So don't forget to save your wallet. And then you can safely just exit it. So that was it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was useful, and well, uh, I'll create that second video with more advanced options such as passwords and using your own nodes. And if you liked my explanation, you can donate some Monero to donate.reuse.cash. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me. Thanks again, and see you next time.